Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe, right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was gonna say I am getting up in their names. I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people. Life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's
Housing price drops are finally here. So, as I was looking on Redfin, because I love Redfin, for all of you who don't know. I used to be a Zillow guy, but I've been on Redfin a lot more. And as I was on Redfin, I'm just looking at all the properties that are dropping down in price. And I knew this was going to happen. I told you all this was going to happen. And why? Is because of property taxes and homeowners insurance going up dramatically. Property taxes have more than gone up more than 50%. And homeowners insurance has gone up more than 50%. So like everything across the board is going up almost more than 50%. But at the same time, you're not making more than 50%. So you're at a crossroads. You're in a place where, okay, if I'm going to rent this out, I need to do that now. If I'm going to sell it, I need to sell that now. Because you don't want to be footing a bill for a property that one, you're not living in, and then two, you're not renting out. So there's a bigger incentive to get rid of that thing and move on. And so I don't think a lot of people account for the property tax increase, the homeowners insurance increase, your electricity bill going up. All these things are constantly increasing all around us. And in Ohio, it's every 2 years that you'll have another property tax increase. So I don't foresee property taxes going down, people. So like it's only going to go up another 2 years from now. And so all those expenses are definitely trickling down and it's definitely affecting people. And all those people who didn't want to budge before when it came to housing are definitely dropping that price now. Because listen, if your pockets weren't hurting before and you were willing to fit a bill for some property taxes, you might not be able to afford to do so now. You thought you were rich, well, you're not that rich now, aren't you? So housing price drops are finally here. People are doing more open houses. They're trying to show off the properties a little bit more. I saw a property drop from $300,000 to $277,000, and that's what, almost a $25,000 price drop. And now they're doing an open house this Sunday on a property that I actually think is pretty cool. It's just not in a good neighborhood, and so paying $277,000 for a property that's not in a good neighborhood and it's not going to cash flow the way I need it to, because I'm not planning on moving. It doesn't have the 2-car garage that I'm looking for, so I'm not planning on moving. So I would rent it out and then potentially use it as a secondary home if I ever chose to utilize that. But at this point, I'm not seeing the appeal at $277,000. And so what I'm looking at is a property that is probably going to go closer to like $260,000. And by the time it hits $260,000, I think I'm actually shocked that it hasn't been removed yet, because a lot of the time these homeowners, these landlords would essentially, they'll remove the property if it doesn't sell for the price that they want. And listen, we're in the summertime, people. So like if your property isn't selling right now, then when is it going to sell? It's probably not going to sell. Now granted, kids are still in school. We're just now hitting May, June, a little bit of July. But once we get into August and it still hasn't sold, oh my goodness. If you get into August and your home still has not sold, it's a done deal. It's a wrap done data. In fact, I believe that in August, we're going to have the best prices available. And another reason for that might be that we might get another rate increase. That's right, I said it. We might get another rate increase. Am I hoping for another rate increase? Not necessarily. I might actually have to go back to the county and see about these taxes and see if I can get mine reduced at this point. But am I hoping for another rate increase? Not necessarily. But it will definitely lower the cost of housing in terms of the price itself, but it will increase the price of entry because housing is still expensive. The prices are still very, very high, and they're not going to go down as much as you think. People would rather hold on until those interest rates cool off rather than sell for too low of a price. And so, why sell something that's not going to make you any money and it's supposed to be an investment, right? So we have to find that middle ground. We have to find that barrier. And I'm trying to find that middle ground. I'm trying to find that opening to where, okay, it makes sense. I'm actually trying to find properties to where, okay, it's a duplex. Okay, I can get a little bit of cash flow from that. Okay, it's hitting all the requirements that I needed to hit. It's nicely rehabbed and ready to go. It makes sense. Okay, I'm buying, I'm investing. And we're at a point right now where nothing really makes sense. Nothing financially makes sense. They want you to put 6 figures down just to get into the property for it to make sense. They're giving you 0 cash flow with 20% down. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I just don't understand. I mean, I kind of understand. It's like you're selling a home. You know that at $100,000, it is worth $900 a month. And you know that you need to put $20,000 down for the 20% plus closing costs and everything else. So at $80,000 down, it now costs you with $20,000 down, now costs you $80,000 in terms of a mortgage. And over a 15 or 30 year period, let's just say that the cost of the mortgage itself is $850, property taxes included. If your rent is only $850, that is the starting point for where they start off. They start off at $100 even. And that doesn't make any sense. Like, who wants to buy a house where you put 20% down and you just break even? And if your tenant decides not to pay, if you forego one day or whatever the case may be, then you're in the red, you're in the negative. That makes no sense, people. Like, nobody wants to live off of potential principal, right, versus interest. Nobody wants to live like that. And so that is really where the housing market is, where you really don't have no profit. And until they start to drop the rates, not just the rates, but until they start to drop the actual price of the home, then you start to see a little bit of, cash. You start to see some cash flow. I'm not going to buy an asset that doesn't make me money from day one, because that's a liability. It must make me money from day one. And I don't want to just make $25 or $50, because the way these property taxes went up, the way these housing costs went up, if I was just making $20, $30 before, I would have been in a bind. I would have been looking to potentially sell because I didn't want to raise rents as much as I would have to. And so having that much wiggle room to where I don't necessarily need to raise rents too much, it allowed me to keep the same tenants, keep me happy, keep them happy, and we're all happy. So yeah, I'm going to need a cushion. I'm going to need $300 to $400 worth of cushion, because when things hit the fan, I don't want to have to just say, you know what, we can't make this work. And that's where a lot of people would be if they were to buy that type of deal. You're putting 40%, 50% down. Yeah, that's not an ideal situation. So housing prices will continue to drop. But they're dropping very, very slowly. Some people are only taking $1,000 off. Some people are taking $3,000 off at a time. And then my favorite is $5,000 to $10,000 off at a time. So if you're one of those people taking $5,000 to $10,000 off at a time, you do about 3 of those, then you might get into my radar. You might start to get my attention. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now it makes sense. Now we're starting to click. And by the time it starts making sense for me, guess what? It's starting to make sense for a lot of other people. So that's when it might go up another five grand, right around there. So I mean, if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what's happening in your neighborhoods. Let me know what type of properties are going up and down. I'm even seeing some properties in Houston, Texas that are now starting to drop in value as well. So with Tesla cutting a lot of jobs and things like that, a lot of things may be shaking up around the globe. So let me know what is going on with you in your market in the comment section down below. And I will see you on the next one.